We booked a night sleeper bus from Hanoi to Sapa through Bookway, as it was one of the few third-party providers working with Sao Viet. This was about 53 per pax for 2 ways. The area was quite spacious. I'm about 161 cm tall and I fit perfectly. They also had a TV screen, water, USB chargers at the front and back, as well as a headphone jack to connect to the TV. Each area has its own air conditioning with cold air blasting from it, and blankets were provided. The seat was adjustable too, allowing you to sit in a semi-upright position. There was also a toilet on board, and they made about 1 to 2 pit stops along the way for us to use the restroom or to buy some snacks. The journey took about 6 hours. There was an announcement made on board stating a complimentary transfer directly to our hotels, so we presumed that the people waiting outside were part of the transfer. The driver did not indicate that he was a taxi, neither was there a mandatory taximeter in the car, so we went ahead with it, and that was our mistake. Upon reaching our hotel, the driver quoted us 180k for 2 km as compared to the 50k on Grab. That's when we realized this wasn't a legitimate cab. We attempted to negotiate the price to 80k, stating that there was no mention prior to getting on, there was no taximeter, along with the highly inflated prices. With this, he threatened to bring us to the police station, which we agreed. The station only opened 2 hours later, so we waited in the car. During this time, he tried to get us to pay the 80k we previously offered, with the catch being that he will leave us at the station instead of our hotel. Mind you, this was only 500 meters away from the original pickup point. We refused his offer once again. He started to get impatient after about 10 minutes of waiting and drove slightly further away from the police station. At this point, he demanded that we pay the 80k and to get off the car. We refused for the 3rd time, and as he got visibly more agitated, my boyfriend told the driver that he was calling the police. Upon hearing this, he got off the car and started to pull my boyfriend off, but to no avail. He then tried to pull me off, to which I stated that I'm getting off and for him not to touch me. We both got off the car as he threw a water bottle at my boyfriend before driving off. Needless to say, that set the tone for the remainder of our time in Sapa. So learn from our mistake, take a Grab when you can as you prepay for the ride. We then proceeded to walk towards our hotel, which was about 25 minutes away, in the cold morning of about 10 degrees Celsius. We arrived at the hotel and crashed in the lobby as we waited for the sun to rise. Our hotel offered a complimentary buggy service towards the city centre, which took about 5 minutes. The weather was pretty clear that day, so we decided to visit the highest mountain in Indochina. The journey was split into 3 sections to reach the peak. The first funicular, cable car, and the second funicular. The prices are as follows. We opted for the first funicular and cable car ride. The first funicular takes you from the city centre to the cable car, which took about 5 minutes. The views from this are spectacular. We alighted at the station and there were several attractions to see along the way, such as a garden, this insanely cool lookout point, and this little village to learn about the history of its people and to buy some souvenirs. We reached the cable car entrance after 35 minutes of walking, but I reckon it will take about 20 minutes if you make a beeline towards the cable car. The queue we encountered was insane. We queued for 25 minutes before finally being able to board the cable car. The ride was about 20 minutes, which was more than enough time to soak in the views. We passed by some food and gift shops before arriving outdoors to start our hike. This is also where the second funicular is located, which brings you directly to the mountain peak. If you wish to avoid the never-ending climb to the top but do not want to miss the amazing views along the way, opt for the second funicular going up and take a scenic hike down thereafter. Little did I know how many flights of stairs we had to climb before reaching the peak, but the views that we captured along the way were phenomenal. We finally arrived at the top after an hour of hiking, and the views there were equally as magical. The way down took 30 minutes as we made fewer pit stops along the way. You can also see how much emptier it was as compared to when we started the hike. There was also barely a queue for the cable car and first funicular as we returned to the city. The queues for both the cable car and first funicular towards the mountain were empty as well, so visiting in the early afternoon may be a good way to avoid the crowds. We arrived back at our hotel to check in, and this was definitely one of the nicer hotels we have stayed at. The room was so spacious and comfy, and we even had a bathtub and a little balcony as well. We rested a little before heading out later that night to grab dinner. I was still a little shaken from the incident earlier that morning, so I was skeptical of everyone and everything, fearing that I might encounter another bad experience. As such, we decided to grab some instant noodles and chips to enjoy it from the comfort of our room and call it a day. We woke up bright and early the next day to grab our complimentary hotel breakfast buffet. We sat outside to enjoy the cold weather and to soak in this amazing view. The buffet offered a wide variety of items which were of good quality. Some worthy mentions include this fried banana, stir-fried noodles, beef with fries, and crepe. I am usually very picky with my fried bananas, but this was so perfect that I took at least 5 pieces each breakfast. The banana was so soft and gooey on the inside, coated in a light and crispy batter, which was not too oily. You can also request for Vietnamese coffee from the staff, which was so good. The coffee was strong and aromatic, balanced out by the thick and creamy condensed milk, which delivered a sweetness to the overall drink. We spotted a telescope where we were sitting, and we could see the entirety of the mountain peak through it. We explored the hotel a little after. They had an indoor swimming pool with a really aesthetic view of the mountains. We headed out in the afternoon as we didn't have much planned due to my reluctance to take a cab after the incident on the first day, so we decided to explore the areas within the city. We visited Ham Rong Mountain, which was about a 5-minute walk behind this cathedral. There were once again many steps to climb. It was pretty empty at the time of our visit, so we were able to enjoy a peaceful walk. It is worth noting that the ground was uneven at times and we had to walk through some of these confined spaces, so do take caution. There was also a lack of signs and certain paths may take you in a circle, so always be attentive to the areas that you have explored. At the top, you are able to enjoy a top-down view of the city centre as well as its surrounding mountains. Thereafter, we explored the city a little and grabbed some food from this restaurant before heading back to our hotel. We ordered a stir-fried beef noodle as well as a beef pho. If you're looking for something affordable yet delicious, I highly recommend ordering the stir-fried beef noodles. It is essentially dry instant noodles with a bunch of ingredients, but it was so aromatic and flavorful. The noodles were nice and chewy, with the beef slices being not too tough. I loved the addition of the fried shallots for a little crunch. The pho, on the other hand, did not have much dimension to it, but a piping hot soup on a cold day was a good combination. For their price, there isn't much to complain about given that the other food options that we found were way more expensive. We went to the hotel's outdoor common sitting area to catch the sunset before calling it a day, but there wasn't much to see. We had the hotel's complimentary breakfast buffet the next morning. There were a few new items such as mushroom cream pasta, fried fish fingers, braised pork belly, asparagus soup with crab stick, and pastries. The braised pork belly was pretty good, with the meat being tender and layered with fat. We requested for a late checkout and took a buggy out towards the city centre at around 2:30 p.m. We took a leisure stroll around the lake and eventually found a seat to relax at. We then headed towards a cafe, which was about 20 minutes away, to catch the sunset. This cafe is known for its scenic views overlooking the funicular. The place offers both indoor and outdoor seating. We decided to sit outdoors and ordered one of their must-try, a double lotus macchiato. The drink was decent, with the tea being light and aromatic, topped with thick foamy milk and ginkgo nuts. This cafe had such a beautiful scenery that I could sit here for hours. I also captured the best phone wallpaper I have to date. We grabbed dinner at the same restaurant we visited the day before. We ordered the same stir-fried beef noodles, which did not disappoint, as well as stir-fried pork and mushroom with rice. The pork and mushrooms were covered in a thick gravy, with the pork being lean but was balanced out by the juiciness from the mushrooms. This was a nice change from the noodles we were having for the past 2 days. We also ordered a plate of vegetable wrapped in pork skewers, as the restaurant is known for their skewers. The meat was a little tough and the vegetables released a lot of water upon biting into it, cancelling out the flavours from the meat. On a side note, I recommend giving the exact amount of cash or using card when paying, as I have read about too many incidents whereby people get scammed into paying more than the indicated price. We headed back to our hotel to grab our bags and chilled in the lobby for a little before heading back out. We took a scenic stroll towards the sleeper bus pickup point as we bidded our last goodbye to Sapa. Sapa's breathtaking views and serene landscapes were undeniably captivating, but our unfortunate experience with the cab driver right off the bat overshadowed the natural beauty this destination had to offer.